On this episode of The Road Trip Photographer, I'm in a ranch in Texas where you can go on an African safari all without leaving the comfort of your own car. Plus, I'm taking my DSLR camera on a road trip back to New Mexico. But first, I'm heading to Arkansas to find out about a turning point in the American Civil War. An eerie calm resonates through what once was a battlefield. The sound of cannon fire forever silenced. The scars of war long faded. As new life continues all the same. With so much beauty and tranquility, it's almost hard to believe that two armies clashed here in a riot of violence over 140 years ago. Today, Pea Ridge is a state park, where people can come to see the history firsthand and walk in the footsteps of Confederate and Union soldiers.
This 4,300 acres was set aside as a memorial for the men that fought and died here. We do have several artifacts in our museum, of course, that came right off the battlefield. Those include weapons. We do have a diary of a soldier that fought here. We have a couple of swords, some bayonets. Probably our biggest thing in our collection, we have Union General Samuel Curtis, who was the Union commander here, overall Union commander. We do have his coat that he wore here at the Battle of Pea Ridge. So that's probably the pride and joy of our museum is Curtis's coat.
March 7th, 1862. A series of events would lead two great armies on a collision course of carnage and destruction. Confederate General Earl Van Dorn made a bold move to catch the Union forces off guard. It was an error in judgment that left Confederate troops without food, supplies, and ammunition. After 2 days of intense fighting, the glory achieved by the South would soon fade as the smoke cleared.
The Union victory here prevented any further or future Confederate plans to invade the state of Missouri. And it kind of cemented federal control of this area for the duration of the war.
With victories on both sides, the outcome of the battle could have gone either way. Yet it was the seduction of glory that ultimately led to the downfall of the South.
And the Union victory here would essentially allow for the future river campaigns of Ulysses S. Grant that were going down the Mississippi River that would eventually culminate with the capture of Vicksburg in '63. And it bolstered kind of the right flank of the Union war effort.
The Union would gain a new foothold in the region, sealing the fate of Missouri once and for all. But the war would continue in Arkansas.
A year later, in 1863, the capital, Little Rock, would be captured. But the battle here specifically saved the state of Missouri for the Union.
It's a musket. A musket means it's loaded from the muzzle. And this was pretty commonly used. 87% of the casualties in the Civil War were caused by something like this, only without rifling in the barrel into the car.
David Lewis has volunteered at the Pea Ridge Historical Military Park for 11 years. He says Pea Ridge is the most pristine Civil War park in the nation.
This was called the Elkhorn Tavern. This was a place where they had an operating table here during the battle. And of course the idea of an operating table today is a little different than it was then, mainly because the ones today at least have a reasonable chance of surviving. This one you really didn't have much of a chance. The main thing they could do was amputate. And amputation was the thing that was very necessary. If you had a hole in your leg anywhere, the chance for gangrene was very, very high, and gangrene, once it gets started, you can't stop it. And so they would amputate if there was any question as to whether or not gangrene would start in.
And it wasn't just the horrors of the front lines that kept the soldiers up at night, but the screams coming from the operating room.
They use whiskey a lot, which isn't really an anesthetic. But alcohol of some kind, usually whiskey mixed with opium, is called laudanum. And that was probably what they used more than anything as a form of morphine.
From the battlefield to the museum to the makeshift hospital, Pea Ridge is not just any state park. It's a piece of living history that not only honors the lives lost, but it's a turning point to the bloody conflict known as the American Civil War.
March of next year, we'll celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Pea Ridge. That'll be March 10th and 11th, and we're going to have large-scale living history events throughout the park, so people can kind of come out and help us commemorate the 150th anniversary of the battle.
From the Ozarks to the desert Southwest, I'm getting back in my truck and heading to New Mexico. With the New Mexico sunset behind me, I'm back in Texas to check out a safari where animals come right up to your car. everybody, thanks for watching my YouTube channel. My name is Mark Katchelmeyer. I'm a photojournalist here in San Antonio, Texas. And today, I'm at the Natural Bridges Wildlife Ranch to give you a visual tour. Now, what's really cool about this place is you drive in your car, and the animals actually roam free, and they come up to your car, and you can actually feed them. Well, what I'm going to be using today to film this, I'm going to be using my Sony Alpha A57 with two lenses. A 28mm lens for the wide angles and the close-up shots. And I'll be using this one right here, which is a 200 to 55mm lens for the long tail photo views, so I can get up close and personal to some of the animals. And also to shoot some of the behind the footage, I'm going to be using my Sony Handycam. So let's get in the car and check it out. One thing to keep in mind about this ranch is that it is a drive-through safari. So if you have a grandfather or grandmother that really can't walk, this is the perfect adventure for them. Okay, so I'm out in the safari right now. It's really cool, but sometimes, you know, you just kind of get stuck in traffic here because there's a longhorn that's blocking the road right now, and we can't go anywhere until the longhorn gets out of the way. Now that it's November and it's finally cooling down, well, this is the perfect time to come out to the ranch because it's nice and cool. A lot of the animals here that you find at the ranch actually come from Africa, and the reason is because Africa's climate and the South Texas climate are very similar. So that's good for these animals and it's good for us. Okay, so far this is my favorite part of the whole experience is the zebras. These zebras are really cool, and it's really cool to be this close to them. And you never get this close to a zebra in a zoo. Now I know admission is a little bit steep at about $17.50 per adult, but you know, it's worth it. And they give you a bag of feed that you can take in the car so you can actually feed and have the animals eating out of your hands. I'm under attack. I have no food for you. Oh my goodness. So this is what they were talking about when the ostriches poke their heads into your car. So, you know, you got to be careful with these ostriches. Thanks for watching my visual tour of the Natural Bridges Wildlife Ranch. Now it's about that time where I need to get back to San Antonio, but until next time, thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Well, that's all the time I have today, but if you'd like to see more adventures, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And watch out for new episodes of The Road Trip Photographer. You can also read about my travel adventures on my blog at the address below. And don't forget to like my page on Facebook.